The 2026 World Cup is underway. We are 5 days in, and so far, there have been no dud matches. That includes Scotland-Haiti, which I did stay up to watch. Good first half, not so good with the second half. And while a match in the early hours of this morning wasn't the best game we've seen so far, it did feature 4 goals, I should say. It was perhaps the most politically charged. Iran versus New Zealand was the second game in Group G and ended 2-2. But some of the most interesting action was off the pitch, both before and after the game. Ahead of the tournament, FIFA had stated that the old monarchist flag, featuring a sun and a lion, would not be welcome inside the Los Angeles Stadium. But that didn't stop some people from trying.
This flag is a prohibited item, so if you want to keep it, then you can go back to your car and put it in your car. But if you want to stay and enjoy the match, we do need you to hand it over to us. So you're not allowed to take pictures of the ground.
I'm not taking a picture. I'm recording this conversation because we're suing FIFA because of this.
Obviously.
It's the freedom of speech. It's the freedom of expression. We're living in the United States.
She tried. Poor lady, doing a good job, I thought, under tough conditions. Ahead of the match, the flag of both teams was spread across one half of the pitch. In Iran's case, that of course meant the flag of the country after the 1979 Islamic Revolution. Both before and after the match, there was name-calling and even fighting between those supporters who back Reza Pahlavi and others who either don't, maybe they oppose him, or simply have no strong opinions. Here's one video of monarchists shouting a torrent of abuse at a German-Iranian man.
طرفدار جمهوری اسلامی بابا کی گفتم چی حرفی بگو جاویدشا جاویدشا اصلا معنیش چیه من فارسی به این خوبی نیست من آلمان به دنیا آمدم بگو جاویدشا یعنی چی جاویدشا بگو پرچم شیر و خورشید بگی دسته پرچم شیر و خورشید بگی بیا پرچم شیر و خورشید بگی پرچم شیر و خورشید بگی بگی بیا پرچمو بگی بیا پرچم شیر و خورشیده بگی دسته بیا بگی بیا بگی دسته 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 چونی گیر تو کاست ننت
You think these people can run a multi-party democracy? Really? This poor man, German-Iranian, he's saying, I can't speak very good Persian. His Persian's very good, much better than mine. And he's speaking German towards the end of that clip. The man's saying, take the flag. He says, I don't want to take the flag. He's very calm. And then he goes, F your mother. There's somebody walking around with a placard saying, fuck Islam. They're giving him the finger. He just wants to watch a football match with his family. I mean, calm down. By the way, there's lots of people. He might even support you. Not after that. Then there was this interview between an Iranian-American supporter of Team Melli and a camera crew.
How do you feel about this massive match with New Zealand?
I mean, I'm pretty excited. I want to see how the national teams go up against each other.
This is not our flag. This is the Islamic Republic's
No,
flag.
Pops, it's okay.
This is not our flag.
We're gonna have
this
like
is Islamic
Pops,
Republic's
don't yell at her.
flag.
It's okay.
That's what's playing over here.
Don't yell at her. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. We're gonna have a lot of problems with these flags. Personally, I'm keeping politics out of football. I'm gonna go enjoy the country and our culture and the sport, and may the best team win. You know, it's just good spirits. It comes every 4 years. You know.
Why do you think there are these problems with the flags? Is it just what's?
It's political warfare back there. You know, it's a country divided right now, and I'm just choosing not to include in that energy for today. You know, that's not needed today. Yeah.
Finally, what do you think of the New Zealand team?
I have not watched New Zealand, but I've heard that they've had a pretty good squad, and they just got a good victory against who? They just played someone. My friend was telling me that they had a good victory.
They played England. It wasn't a victory. It was a 1-0 loss, so we're happy with that. England's good.
Yeah.
But Iran's a pretty good team, aren't they?
We are, as it terms to like the region, but whenever we're facing European teams or outside of our continent, we're like defensive heavy and long balls, so it's not the comfiest wins when we do win. So I have a feeling it's going to be a lot of that today. Parking the bus and long balls and headers. Yeah.
Good luck. I hope you enjoy the occasion.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate it.
What a nice guy. And it's true, Iran plays what the kids now call haram ball. Arteta-style football, not the nicest to watch necessarily, although Arteta actually wins. What a nice young man. We'll talk about it more in a moment. Then there was this video of a man being hectored, and apparently he's not even Iranian.
You rent your mom! You rent your mom!
Sugar
You
daddy!
rent your mom for money!
You like Palestine?
You rent your
daddy?
But you rent
Yeah.
everybody!
Sugar
You
daddy!
only,
You like
Islamic Republic,
You make no
Moscow!
sense. You make no sense.
Terrorists! Terrorists!
That's enough, then.
Go ahead, go! Terrorists, go!
Come on.
These people just want to watch football matches.
Really, really bizarre. I mean, they have effed up, right? The Iranian monarchy. I mean, it's similar to the previous story we were talking about with Netanyahu, which is they've taken this massive gamble, which is they've sort of supported Trump to go into this war, which just like Netanyahu, actually, the Iranian monarchists had been telling sort of the American government, if you go in and start this war, the regime will crumble, and then the people who back Pahlavi will just take over, and it will be easy as pie. Now, what has happened is that Donald Trump now looks at Netanyahu and says, I think you misled me. He looks at these Iranian monarchists, thinks, you've misled me also you're mad. And now they're just, I suppose, committed to alienating as many people as possible.
But I say this to somebody who's half Iranian, it feels like this may be the most useless social movement in history. You know, Iran International is a fake news channel that's a pro-Pahlavi news channel. They've spent £600 million. You know, people talk about GB News, which is sometimes gets bigger numbers than BBC News, Sky News. They've spent tens of millions of pounds. I think maybe 100 million over 3 or 4 years. Iran International has spent 600 million pounds. And it feels to me that the Iranian monarchist movement, and to be clear, many Iranians aren't happy with the government and the Iranian state. Of course, I'm not saying that for 1 minute. But this movement, particularly around the flag and Pahlavi, has to be up there, has to be all-time a GOAT. These guys, the Boston Celtics, the New York Yankees, Manchester United in 1999, the Arsenal Invincibles, of bad social movements. It's like they're trying to actively alienate as many people as possible. It's extraordinary. Take the flag. I'm okay, thank you. He's being very nice. Fuck you. F your mother. How are you going to win? How are you going to run a country behaving like that? And here's the thing. People can talk about Iran today as it is, as it's been since 1979. My view is, and I think many people agree with this that I speak to, these people would be worse. These people would be substantially worse. They're racist, they're Islamophobic, they're bigots, they're xenophobic. By default, that final video of a dude just walking with some headwear, that means they can talk about his mum and money and terrorists and FU. These aren't kids. These are guys in their 40s, their 50s. There are women in their 60s and their 70s doing this stuff. Michael, I can't get my head around it. And I suppose for you, you're one of these people that says, look, don't look at X isn't real. Social media isn't real. And if you base your politics on what you're seeing on these social media platforms, you're going to make some really bad mistakes. And it does feel like the Pahlavi movement is the paradigmatic example of that now. They've just built this echo chamber. They take it offline. And if you don't agree with them, you're out. They're not interested in persuasion. They're not interested in building a broader political coalition.
Yeah, it's kind of second referendum coded. Although, I mean, people could say this about lots of left-wing movements as well, right? Although this one seems particularly, I suppose, outlandish because it's so divorced from reality. I mean, I think there is always this danger. I mean, there was the same thing before the Iraq War, wasn't there? When you've got a movement which is outside the country, a diaspora movement, which has really strong political opinions and makes quite outlandish claims to represent a population which they can't really back up. And I don't really get the psychology of it. I know you think about these guys a lot more than I do, but do you think they genuinely think that this is a way to try and bring about sort of regime change in Iran? Is it to kind of build up social cachet in their own social circles? You know, is this sort of them virtue signaling to people who are like them for status? Or do they think that there is some outcome here that's going to make a difference?
I think it's all a function of online and social media stuff, particularly in Iran International. I think they now think that's like a majoritarian position. And it's not. It's many people, but of course you need to become a majority to win. You need to become politically hegemonic, but they don't think in those
And you're not
terms.
going to become a majority by openly supporting Trump and Netanyahu.
You're not going to
saying F Islam.
You're not going to become hegemonic by saying that we need to get rid of the religion this country's had for 1400 years, by telling people to F their mothers if they just won't hold your flag, by identifying yourself with the number one most unpopular country in the West, which is Israel, and tying yourself to a president who, if you don't like the guy, you hate him. It just doesn't seem very smart. So you don't think the tactics are working? Neither do I. I do quite like this idea of you saying it's second referendum coded. I was always a critic of the second referendum stuff. It was never quite that bad. Besides divisions among the fans, there are, of course, the players, with senior voices from the Iranian side commenting on their unique treatment in this tournament. Speaking to the BBC, head coach Amir Golani said Iran was the, quote, most oppressed team at the World Cup, citing the constantly changing arrangements his players were subject to. He went on to say this. After the game, they said to us, you have to leave immediately. This is after the game against New Zealand. We've been asked to get on a plane and return to our camp in Tijuana. Remember, this is in LA. And we are really troubled by that. They're forcing us to go back early. They're making the situation more and more difficult, more hurdles. But we're not going to let that stop us from doing our best. After the match against New Zealand, Gianni Infantino, the president of FIFA, went into the Iranian team's dressing room to speak directly to the players.
Tonight was a tough game. With a bit more luck, you win.
امشب بازی سختی بود با یک کم شانس بیشتر نتیجه رو می‌بردین این بازی رو.
But you showed to your families, to your friends, to your people, to the world that you are in the World Cup, that you perform and you have 2 more games to go.
ولی به خانواده‌تون، به دوستاتون، به دنیا، به جهان نشون دادین که شما تیم تو جام جهانی هستین و 2 تا بازی دیگه هم دارین.
And in these 2 games that you have to go, you will make again everyone in the world proud of what you do.
و تو این 2 بازی هم که دارین همه رو دور دنیا باعث افتخار خواهیم بود براشون.
Thank you for being here.
خیلی ممنون که اینجا
It's also a big emotion. I know what you go through. I understand. But you are stronger than everything.
احساسات خیلی بزرگه. من درک میکنم شما چه احساساتی دارین، ولی شما از همه این بزرگتر هستین.
And you send a strong message to the entire world.
You send a strong message to the entire world. Now leave. Get on the plane. Okay, bye-bye. This is the same man, of course, Gianni Infantino, who memorably said, and I love this, today, I'm Qatari, I'm Arab, I'm gay, I'm disabled, I'm a migrant worker. This was all before, of course, giving the World Cup to Qatar. An extraordinary charlatan of a man. But he pulled it off there. It's very convincing. If you didn't know who he was, and we'll talk about that more in a minute, you'd think, wow, that's really heartfelt. It's not. Finally, the Daily Telegraph published this extraordinary article today. The World Cup's integrity is being eroded by the shameful treatment of Iran. The Daily Telegraph, not The Guardian, not Novara Media. I want to read just one excerpt from that very good piece. When striker Mehdi Taremi calls the situation a disaster, he's not mistaken. As soon as Iran's place in North America was confirmed, it was incumbent on FIFA to clarify that the 3 host nations, the US, Mexico, and Canada, would guarantee every team and official unrestricted access. Even Sepp Blatter, Infantino's profoundly compromised predecessor, described this as a, quote, fundamental principle of organizing any World Cup. But in his overwhelming desire to show deference to President Donald Trump, Infantino neglected to uphold the rule. And in the space of a week, he's seen a Somalian referee deported and an Iranian squad shuttled back and forth across a border on the whim of the US government. Michael, what do you make of the Iranian team's treatment at this World Cup?
I mean, it is completely outrageous. And Gianni Infantino says, oh, you're so welcome. Like, it is exactly the same as what he did in Qatar, which is there's no concrete commitments, but it's this like just insane virtue signaling. I feel gay. I feel disabled. You are welcome. Now leave, please. I mean, the Somalian referee, there were loads of sort of defenders saying, no, this is because he was on a diplomatic visa. He was just on the incorrect visa. Of course he got deported. But the quote you read there, that's why people going to the World Cup are on a diplomatic visa, because this is a global event. It's not an event which is sort of, it shouldn't be subject to the rules of the host country. It's a global event with global significance, which is why people going to it, not fans obviously, but people who are playing a vital part in it should be on diplomatic visas. Iran, it's not just like, again, I'm not going to pretend to be a good commentator on football as a sport, but from what I've read, it is really severely damaging Iran's chances to compete properly at this World Cup, that they're not allowed to arrive significantly before their matches, and they're not allowed to stay significantly after their matches to have a warm down, right? So they have that game. What they want to do is go straight to a hotel where they can have their warm down, they can have treatments, massages, so that they can limit the possibility that they'll get injuries before the next match. Within 2 hours, they were on a plane to Mexico.
Yeah.
And they wanted to get to the venue 2 days before. They had to come about sort of just under 24 hours before. And the fact that FIFA can't guarantee that after giving Donald Trump the FIFA Peace Prize, I mean, it is just an absolute joke.
He's also going to be giving the trophy away to the winner. This was
Trump will
confirmed
be?
today, yeah. So like with the World Club Cup recently, when he, last year he gave it to Chelsea, or actually earlier this year or last year. He gave it to Chelsea, Cole Palmer's like, what the hell is going on? That will be repeated with the World Cup, which again is quite extraordinary and a major diplomatic coup for him. You mentioned the Somali referee. The most senior referee in Africa had refereed the final of what is effectively the African equivalent of the Champions League final. I think he's now going to get the European Super Cup. And then you've had the Uzbek team, Uzbekistan national side, was stopped. They were searched, sniffer dogs. Fabio Cannavaro, former Italy captain, Ballon d'Or winner, World Cup winner, Real Madrid captain, is being treated like a drug mule, like a Colombian drug mule. And then even today, the Uruguayan team got the same treatment. Manuel Ugarte, he's not very good, but he cost a lot of money, £50 million? He's just looking around, what the hell is going on? This guy's played for PSG, Manchester United. As I've said before, this is the world's first example of negative sports washing. America's reputation is being bashed because it's hosting the World Cup. It's meant to work the other way around, Donald. What are you doing? Although there is a golden thread running through all this, isn't there, Michael? That people have made bad bets geopolitically, and it's really coming home and hurting them, right? Trump, Netanyahu, Infantino, they didn't act from a position of principle. And often people think, well, you won't get found out. Kind of does feel that Infantino will be remembered for this for the rest of his life. Netanyahu probably has screwed up Israel's interests quite substantially. Trump will be remembered for the dumbest American war, maybe in history, actually. There's something there, right?
With three characters who I suppose to some degree represent sort of the worst side of modern politics, which is a complete shamelessness, taking quite big risks and sort of avert corruption. I mean, Infantino, I don't want to get sued, but sort of the places this World Cup has gone, it's in Saudi Arabia in 2 World Cups time.
Yeah.
We've had Qatar, the United States. I don't know. I think
Russia.
Russia.
So it's an all-time run.
It is an all-time run. No, it's a disaster. Disgrace.
It says a lot about the modern world, which is why we have to change it.